Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Dear Princess Celestia, the show where I take an episode and analyze its moral. Today's episode, Over a Barrel.
Dear Princess Celestia.
It's made clear that the buffalo in this episode are modeled after the Native American culture, and the center conflict between the buffalo and the Appalachian settlers is paralleled with the conflict between the Native American tribes and European settlers. Similar to the episode, European settlers claimed lands, resources, and even people from the natives. When the natives fought back, they were seen as unsophisticated savages.
Barely even human!
Even though they had plenty of reasons to be upset. Even in their more peaceful relations, language and cultural barriers made both sides very uneasy. Racism towards natives built up, and they fought a lot, the Europeans taking more and more from them. But enough with the history lesson. Back to ponies. In this story, the Appalachians planted trees over the roaming grounds of the buffalo. Roaming that territory was a very important tradition to them. But keep in mind that apple trees are one of the ponies' only sources of food. Because of this, there was conflict. Both groups had totally valid reasons for owning the land. Rainbow Dash was exposed to Little Strongheart's side, while Applejack was exposed to Brayburn's side, and they of course argued and didn't listen to the other's reason, even though Brayburn himself and Little Strongheart were willing to discuss the dilemma in peace.
That information will be quite helpful.
That's weird, because my cousin Brayburn here wants to explain to the buffalo why they should let the apple trees stay.
That would be a useful thing to... The land is theirs!
And there's the first moral. Be sure to listen to the other's problem and be willing to hear possible solutions. When Twilight tried to talk sense into any Appalachian, she was rejected pretty much every time. The entire battle could have been avoided if they had simply talked it through. The second point is to be understanding. You can never judge a pony until you've trotted a mile on their hoofs. Once Rainbow had heard the buffalo's side, she didn't even consider the fact that the Appalachians live off the orchard, and without it, ponies would have to move. In the same way, Applejack didn't honor their tradition that goes back generations. Both counted the other side's reasoning as irrelevant. Now, in the real world, understanding the other side was a huge problem. The two cultures were so different, even their ideas of ownership and property had little in common. The ponies, however, really had no excuse. In fact, the peaceful solution was painfully obvious. I think bits like Pinky's song angering everyone were just there to speed up the plot. Speaking of Pinky's song, our third moral is, you guessed it, gotta share, gotta care. If two groups can't agree, find a middle ground so that no one loses. Even though this was the main moral of the story, I find the first two much more relevant to the situation. Number 4, you can't forget the go-to moral for every episode. Friendship is magic. The compromise encouraged peace, but friendship is what ensured it. And what else am I missing? Of course, never sing bad musical numbers. Those have been known to start wars. What do you guys think about this episode's moral? Leave your thoughts in the comments. This is the Brony Notion, signing out until next Wednesday. Brohoo.